Welcome back to our next series on creating formulas. And as Marnie says, it's going to be fun.
We like to say that, yes. I think it is going to be fun because, this is where you really can make Excel do things for you. It's like your little assistants. And formulas are how you tell Excel what you want it to do. So, it can count, it can add, it can subtract, it can do all kinds of things. And the great thing is it can pull data from, one spreadsheet in different columns or from different spreadsheets and pull it all together into the numbers, that you need to see. And, of course, it could do it for the reporting form, as we've seen, and, you can look at all kinds of things. So we're going to start off simple at first. Just, what is a formula? How do you build it? We'll walk through some of that. And then in our next video, it's going to get even more fun.
All right,
Hopefully
let's
everybody
go.
else will have fun too.
Yeah, let's go with the fun formulas.
Don't sound so sarcastic.
Hello, this is Marnina Evans with the Capacity Building Center for Tribes, and this is the technical portion of our Formula Basics video. So formulas are a really powerful way to get Excel to do all sorts of things for you. The trick is that you need to know exactly how to ask it. You need to give it really specific instructions on what you want it to do, or it will just sit there and stare at you blankly, maybe mumble something with an error message. Those of you who have spouses or teenagers at home, you may be familiar with this, so we don't want that. So ultimately, our goal is that Excel is going to fill in all of these reporting numbers for you so that as you enter them into the spreadsheets for each month, you will get a live update of all of your totals. And when it's time to do your reporting, you can just copy them right over into whatever form you're filling out and you're done. Super easy. But this looks a little bit busy and intimidating to start with. So we are going to start a little bit slower with the very basics of Excel. It will build up so that you'll be able to see just how simple formulas really are once you learn how to speak Excel's language. Okay, so all formulas are going to start off with an equal sign. So put up in the formula bar, and there's an equal sign. So now Excel is listening. This is how you let it know that you're about to give it instructions to do something for you. It's like saying, Siri or Alexa or OK Google, if you use your phone like that. So this tells Excel, okay, listen for instructions. So we can start off just by doing something super simple. Excel can just, Excel can add some numbers for you. So let's say 5 plus 5. Okay, and then you're going to hit the tab key in order to lock that in, and it comes up as 10, which is what 5 plus 5 is. So good job, Excel. And when you click back onto the cell, you see the value here of 10. That's the result of your formula. But if you look up at the formula bar, it shows you what the formula actually is. Okay, but you're not really going to use Excel to do basic arithmetic. We all have brains, we all have calculators for that. So where Excel really gets useful is when you can take information from different parts of your spreadsheet and count it or calculate it automatically. So here we have just a little example data here with some placement numbers and the foster care rate. And let's see, we can do this with a calculator, but we could also get Excel to calculate this for us by just automatically. So once again, we start off with an equal sign. Okay, so now what are we going to tell Excel to do? Well, we want to know the number of placements multiplied by the case rate. So the number of placements is over here, and this is in cell B2. If you were with us back when we did our basic Excel refresher, you'll recall that every cell has a cell reference, its own unique name, which is the column B and the row. in this case 2. So we want to type in B2. Now we want to multiply, and the symbol for that is the asterisk. And then we want the case rate, which is going to be right here in C2. So ultimately we want to say, please multiply B2 by C2 to give us our total expenditure. And we hit tab there, and there you go. Now we go down to the next line, and this time we want to say, this is for February, which is in B3. So we'll say B3 times, whoops, and sometimes your mouse jumps without you telling it to do that. So you have to start over, but that's okay. Goes B3, another asterisk, and the rate is in C3. Okay, so and then you can continue down the line until you hit December, which is going to be B13 times C13. Now, something even more interesting that Excel could do is take information from different sheets in your workbook and combine them to do something that you want to do. So let's say, we don't want to have this extra column here, so we'll hide that for now. We'll delete these formulas. So let's say you have the case rate in a different worksheet. So let's look over here at this sheet called rates. Okay, rates, so we want the 2018 rate because that is what year it is right now. So that is in cell C2. So going back here, hit equal sign, get Excel to listen. So we still want to say B2 for the January number of placements times, okay, now how do we get Excel to understand that we want it to look in a different worksheet for this rate? Well, the way you do that is you type the name of the worksheet, in this case rates, an exclamation point, and then you put the cell reference. So you can see we're saying to multiply the number that's in cell B2 of this worksheet, multiply that by what is in cell C2 of the rates worksheet. And there it is, same result. Okay, so, and once again, you can do that. We'll go ahead and put a couple more of these in. B3 times rates, exclamation point, C2. There we go, and here we'll have March. Again, that will be B4 this time, because that's what line we're on. Multiply that, rates, C2, because the rate isn't moving, so that's always going to be rate C2. Okay. Oh, and we can go ahead and format this cell to match the others. So we'll have currency, 2 decimal places with a dollar sign. There we go. So that matches up. Okay, so Excel can also look not just one cell at a time, but it can look through a whole range of cells. So using this example, let's say that you wanted to add up our Q2 expenses, so these January through March. So we can say equal sign. Now the way you can add stuff in a range is by using the sum command. That tells it that you're adding more than just 2 cells at a time. So you want to add the range of cells. You can put this in parentheses, and we'll say from D2 through D4. Okay, so you see how that works. You have a command sum, and then in parentheses, no space, you put the range of cells. So from cell D2, colon, to cell D4. And there it goes, there's your total. Okay, so that's kind of basics of how these work. Oh, and another trick, if you don't want to write out a sum, is you could use the AutoSum function. This is a specific button just for the sum. And then you'll see it's automatically trying to go across, but we don't want that. We want it to do this. So all you have to do is highlight that and then hit the tab key, and you'll get the same result. That's just a little shortcut.
Okay, so I know formulas can be a little bit intimidating when you first get started. How are you guys feeling about it now?
No, I'll answer that because I have to use formulas, and I've told you before, Marnie, that I wasn't comfortable. Would you please hurry up and do the video for me? And so now I'm already feeling better, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
All right,
That's
good.
cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you for getting us to this one. Thanks.